Hello all, Sirupaanaatrupadai, the Minstrels guide, and according to the guidance of the poet, we have crossed three important towns, Irpattanam, Velur and Amur, and now we are standing at the entrance of Nalliyakodan's palace. We shall continue with the poem. நல்லியக்கோடனின் ஊர் சிறப்பும் அதன் அண்மையும் ஏரி மறிந்தன்ன நாவினிலங்கு ஏற்று கருமறி காதின் கவையடிப்பேய் மகள் நின்னன் உண்டு சிரித்த தோற்றம் போல பிணனுகைத்த சிவந்த பேர் உகிர் பனைத்தாள் அண்ணல் யானை அருவிதுகள் அவிப்ப நீரு அடங்க தெருவின் அவன் சாறு அயர் மூதூர் செய்த்தும் அன்று சிறிது நனி அதுவே. Nalliyakodan's great kingdom and its proximity. Flaming orange tongue, dazzling teeth, white goat kids dangling along ears, bow-legged she-devil who devoured the dying fat and stood with smirk with the thickly legs and long toenails, so scarlet kicking corpses much to seize the must of mammoths, oozing out with settled dust the dustless streets of his kingdom, so ancient and rich, is not too far, just few steps ahead. Here the poet introduces us to one of the street art forms that prevailed during that period. So he's talking about performers who used to don themselves in the form of she-devil. These people were short in stature and they were bow-legged, and they used to have long nails on their arms as well as on their toes. They had a ritual wherein they would dig for the corpses. They would savor the corpses, they would kick them around as a part of ritual to please the gods. Though the ritual seems a little gory, this was something that prevailed during the ancient times. But the poet says that even though they had such gory rituals, the streets of Nalliyakodan's kingdom was extremely dustless, that even a must-filled mammoth could not find an inch of dust to cover its must. So the poet says that such rich and traditional town, which is a part of Oimaan kingdom of Nalliyakodan, is to be savored. So moving forward with the poem. நல்லியக்கோடனின் அரண்மனை வாயில் பொருநர்க்கு ஆயினும் புலவர்க்கு ஆயினும் அருமறினாவின் அந்தனர்க்கு ஆயினும் கடவுள் மால் வரை கண்டுவிடுத்தன்ன அடையா வாயில் அவன் அருங்கடை குறுகி. The grand palace's entrance. For the bards or for the poets, for the Brahmins with hexad duties, like the holy mounds with gods that embrace, the ever-open doors guarded you shall reach. The poet says that the gates of Nalliyakodan's palace are always open for those who come seeking alms, or those who come seeking help, any kind of patronage. The gates are open for poets like him, bards, minstrels, performers, Brahmins, and anybody who is in need of Nalliyakodan's help. The guards or the soldiers who stand there do not stop any of these people who come to meet the king. சான்றோர் புகழ்தல் செய் நன்றி அறிதலும் சிற்றினமின்மையும் இன்முகமுடைமையும் இனியன் ஆதலும் செறிந்து விளங்கு சிறப்பின் அறிந்தோர் ஏத்த. Scholarly praise. The one who is ever grateful sans evil company, pleasant smiling face that speaks sweet words, attitude that acknowledges talents and skills alike. Here, the poet gives us adjectives or description of what sort of a person King Nalliyakodan was. He says that Nalliyakodan was a truly grateful king. He never forgot even a small act of thankfulness, and he always gifted people so that he never was in debt to anybody. And his company was such that he was a friend to scholars and to simpletons. He blended so well with the people, he was one among them. So now we know why he feels that Nalliyakodan is as special as the 7 Samaritans and why he is much better than the 3 kings of the greater clans. Maravar Portal. அஞ்சினர் கழித்தலும் வெஞ்சினம் இன்மையும் ஆணணி புகுதலும் அழிப்படை தாங்கலும் வாழ்மீ கூரத்து வயவர் ஏத்த. The Maravas acclaim, lending hands to the submissive force, never with vengeful anger, leading his men march forward with valor to vanquish the skilled sportsmen. Shower acclaims their leader. The ancient times had people belonging to the army of the king divided according to the main profession that they carried out. And based on that, they were three: Kallar, Maravar, and Agamudayar. Cullers were people who owned vast pieces of lands, empty lands that were most often used for battles. And Maravas were extremely skilled swordsmen, and they often led the army of the kings. And Agamudayar were people who had a lot of wealth and they carried out different businesses. Here, the poet says that all the swordsmen belonging to the Maravas group were extremely happy about King Nalliyakodan because he was the perfect leader one could ever get. மகளிர் வாழ்த்தல் கருதியது முடித்தலும் காமுறப்படுத்தலும் ஒரு வழிபடாமை ஓடியது உணர்த்தலும் அரியேர் உண்கண் அறிவயர் ஏத்த. As the ladies glorify. Thoughts flown as actions, once so charming, yet one who had no lust, so compassionate, protecting distressed dames, of beautiful eyes lined with tear. The poet says that he was extremely charming, King Nalliyakodan was, but at the same time, he never cheated on his wives. He stayed true to them, and he was a protector to the dames of his country. The women folks of the country never felt unsafe when King Nalliyakodan was around. பரிசிலர் ஏத்தல் அறிவு மடம் படுத்தலும் அறிவு நன்கு உடைமையும் வரிசை அறிதலும் வரையாது கொடுத்தலும் பரிசில் வாழ்க்கை பரிசிலர் ஏத்த. Patrons praise. Compassionate towards commoners, wise among the scholarly, knowing the skilled and bestowing just, the patrons of past praise him beyond times. The poet says that no wonder Nalliyakodan was praised by so many people who met him before he had. Nalliyakodan was able to identify skills in different people. Even though they never exhibited, he knew what sort of talents they had, and he always gave them gifts just to fit their talents and skills. And he was extremely generous as well, and very scholarly to judge them in the right way. And so now we know why Nalliyakodan is extra special. We are almost done with the poem. We have few more lines in praise of Nalliyakodan. We have to wait till the next part. Thank you.